Welcome everyone to the latest installment of the Nerdvana podcast. I am John Murphy, and with me, as always, is my co-host Ian Benoit. We are bringing a new topic, a different topic to the discussion. We're not talking about a movie or a film genre in general. We're kind of talking about a thing, a trend, a technique in filmmaking that
a style
a style that that started in the early days of filmmaking and kind of died off with the advent of CGI thanks to Jurassic Park, which, by the way, has just celebrated its 30th anniversary.
Yeah, and we figured what better way to celebrate Jurassic Park's 30th anniversary than to look at the history of dinosaur films in this certain way.
We're not going to go into too much detail with this certain topic, which, as you can tell by the title up there, it's about the colloquial term Slurpasaur, which we'll get into detail what the hecky that is later. But yeah, for the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park, I mean, we could have just done Jurassic Park again, but we did that 2 years ago, and quite frankly, we don't want to rehash everything. What we said was said 2 years ago,
and not much has changed on our point of views, I don't think.
No. But we did want to do something dinosaur related, and Ian did bring to thought of this topic that we've had in our heads for the past few months, and it is dinosaur related. And thanks to Jurassic Park, we don't really have to do this type of technique anymore. Although you could say that even the Japanese monster movies like Godzilla also kind of did away with this trend.
Kind of.
Sort of.
It ushered in that era a little bit.
But anyway, we're talking about Slurpasaur, and this actually combines both of our fields, me as a filmmaker and Ian as a caretaker of cold-blooded animals, or for you laymen's, reptiles.
Yeah, and I've been working with reptiles for close to 5 years now. I am by no means an expert, but I do talk with a lot of experts. I've started a documentary series going behind the scenes of various reptile facilities. The first one has been up on my channel for quite a few years. Well, not years, quite a few months now.
Yeah, that's the one with
Clyde peelings. Yes,
that's the one with the Komodo dragons, right?
Yes. And I was very fortunate enough to have a good relationship with the people up at Clyde Peelings. They let me go out and do that. However, I personally have worked with a variety of reptiles. I can read them off. I've worked with lizards. I've worked with panther chameleon, green iguana, and caiman lizards. Snakes. Oh boy. Ball pythons, Borneo short-tailed pythons, green tree pythons, Burmese pythons, reticulated pythons, emerald tree boas, Brazilian rainbow boas, common boas, red-tailed boas, yellow anacondas, African green bush snake, Kenyan sand boas, and Nelson's milk snakes. That's just the snakes I've worked with. Turtles, and then we'll go right into tortoises. South Florida cooter, Mississippi map turtle, false map turtle, diamondback terrapin, red-eared sliders, and alligator snapping turtles.
Yet the one that particular one actually caused you to bleed in our Latin. Caused you to bleed like the hour before, like right before our last session.
Oh no, that wasn't an alligator snapping turtle. That was a common snapping turtle.
Oh.
I don't work with those professionally.
Oh, okay.
If I happen to get bit by an alligator snapping turtle, I would be losing a few fingers.
Okay.
Whereas a common snapping turtle probably could just bite down to the bone. Yeah, so I'd rather take the claws of a common snapping turtle any day.
Okay.
Tortoises I've worked with. Redfoot tortoise, leopard tortoise, African pancake tortoises, which are critically endangered, sulcata tortoises, and Aldabra tortoise, the second and third largest tortoise in the world, respectively. I've also worked with a few macaws, cockatoos, and African gray parrot. Just throw those in there because I work with those as well. And my personal favorite, American alligators, ranging in size from 1.5 feet all the way up to a 10-foot male.
This particular lizard actually is featured prominently in the topic that we are discussing.
Even though it's not really a lizard, John.
Even though it's not a real.
Alligators are not lizards.
Right, they're birds because they lived during the time of the dinosaurs, right?
No, they're archosaurs. They split off from the line that would lead to dinosaurs before dinosaurs showed up.
Okay.
But yeah, so I've been around the block a couple times with reptiles. I know how to care for them responsibly, which is what I always push for.
Mm-hmm.
And this trend of Slurpasaurs, what exactly is it? Because I can toss in my couple cents here and there with how I feel about this. But John, what is a Slurpasaur?
Well, Slurpasaur is essentially it's honestly a community term done by the film in the film community. It's a term used mostly used for movies that tended to use actual animals to kind of, don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but essentially take the place of prehistoric animals. Essentially use live lizards, reptiles, even not just reptiles, and even insects or mammals, and try to pose them as large monstrous creatures. And here's the thing: it is done when the studio doesn't even have enough money for CGI, which didn't come around until about the 80s.
So it wasn't an option in the first place.
So it wasn't an option for the decades where this was most prominent. Couldn't use stuff. It was too. They used it because it was cheaper than stop motion,
which takes a while.
It does take a while. It takes a lot of time, and where it's not as expensive as a guy in a rubber suit.
So really money-saving technique here.
This is like shoestring budget.
Mm-hmm. It's mainly used in B movies,
or movies that have like a B movie like feel to them. And what brought this to my attention was a video by a YouTuber that by the name of Dino Diego. I don't know how.
I think it's Dino Diego.
I like Dino. I kind of like Dino more because of the little internal rhyme scheme. Dino Diego.
Regardless, that guy.
Yeah, his video, which is linked in the descriptions, kind of gives a very good detailed history. Well, not too detailed, but a detailed enough history into this trend of using live animals and passing them off as dinosaurs. And it's very fascinating to look. It's very fascinating to look at it from a filmmaker's perspective. It's fascinating in how it is pulled off. Although nowadays there are some questionable things about this technique.
That's certainly one way to put it. So John, how was this technique pulled off?
Well, it was mostly of course, as I've mentioned before, it actually used live animals, and mostly these were reptiles, iguanas, monitor lizards, even snakes, and even a few alligators and crocodiles. and how it and how and but it wasn't just simply, place them in a miniature looking set, film them from a low angle, and they look really big. No, 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 no. They actually they took it a little bit further, where they would actually attach like spines, fins, horns, wings, even frills to the reptiles, to actually make them look more, to make them dinosaur like.
And keep in mind, this is what the pre-dinosaur renaissance era of what we thought these animals were like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was before. I mean, although in 1940, when Disney's Fantasia came out with the Rite of Spring, the evolution of the Earth, we still had a pretty good understanding of what some dinosaurs were, like a T-Rex, a Stegosaurus, a Triceratops, and a Brontosaurus. We kind of had a general idea what that was. That's kind of where according to the video, this is kind of where those movies did kind of. I don't want to say it. It's not like it's not that they assumed that the general audience was stupid, but they never really. The really bad B movies that would just outright state that this creature, that's the Tyrannosaurus or the Brontosaurus, and it's like, and audiences would be quick to point out, no, that's not what that is.
That's even funnier, because that scene that you're referencing in one of those movies, they claimed it was a Tyrannosaurus, even though they showed the head of an iguana, which is not carnivorous in any way, shape, or form. Having worked with them before,
yes,
I still work with one. Not carnivorous in any way.
But all right, but despite that, if you didn't mention what dinosaur they were supposed to represent, you just either called them like a prehistoric creature, or you just called them a dinosaur, the audience is willing to suspend their disbelief for that enough. So yes, it looks like an alligator, and it looks like it has like a sail on its back. Fine, we'll
say it's a Dimetrodon, whatever.
Or we'll say it's a dinosaur. We kind of know this is a movie. This is a movie. We know it's not supposed to be like a science lesson. How they attach those onto the animals is again more, I guess, morally reprehensible.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this decade was animal rights as well as animal cruelty was either not a thing, or just not as big as it is now.
Yeah, we still had some learning to do during this day and age, and we still do, honestly. But the way they attached those, at least according to Wikipedia, for probably the most famous Slurpasaur scene of all time, they glued the features on.
They glued them on.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of glue it was, but then there's the fact that you're just gluing something onto a living animal, and that still happens today, and it calls out immediately for what it is. But back in these days, it just
now that's not what makes it morally reprehensible. The movie that you're referring to,
that's awesome. We get into that.
Yes. Yes. The movie that we're talking about is 1 million BC, and among the film community, it is famously infamous. It is definitely considered so bad it's good, but there's a scene in there that has actually been reused in multiple B movies that needed giant prehistoric monsters
to fight.
Who fight, and this is when it this is, in my mind, this is when it goes from morally reprehensible to just downright exploitative.
It's absolutely cruel at this point.
Yes, yes, a lizard actually dies.
On screen.
We see its actual death captured on film.
And this happens multiple times, or at least a couple times throughout the trend. It's not just this one film. So, a bit of backstory. The two animals that are fighting in this, you can look it up if you want. Content warning, obviously. If you have an issue with animal cruelty, obviously do not watch it. But
or if you don't like the sight of blood, even if it's not
even if it's black and white.
Even if it's black and white, yeah.
In this scene, there is an on-screen, extremely visceral fight between a young American alligator with a prosthetic, fake Dimetrodon-like sail glued to its back, and an animal called an Argentine black and white tegu. And the animals are actively hurting each other. And one at least does, let's see, according to the Wikipedia article, the tegu is severely injured.
And
I seriously doubt it was just severely injured.
I looked up that clip. The movie, which came out in 1940, it's in the public domain, so it's easily viewed.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's easily viewed, and I came to that part in the movie. I had to do some scrubbing, and I actually timed it. I actually timed it from the first fight to the end of the fight. It took on screen that fight lasts about 1 minute 42 seconds. That's already too long for my tastes.
Absolutely. And granted, this was the 40s.
This was the 40s. Now, if this was between the Tyrannosaurus and the Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park 3, I would have no problem, because I know those creatures aren't real on screen.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously they're not real. So you can do whatever you want to a fake animal.
However,
you might still get some backlash on it, depending on how you portray that.
However, Ian, there's also a scene where the caveman walks along the defeated animal, and there's also a lingering shot on a bite wound that is still flowing with blood. That entire scene is an additional 30 seconds, with 10 of those are lingered on that flesh wound.
Short answer: this would not fly today.
This would absolutely not fly today. So now, keep in mind, we're not bashing this movie too much because of that. It's a product of its time. Yeah. Me personally, this movie has its place in cinematic history. Not in a good way. All movies kind of have their place in it. And the reason why it has this place is because that fight scene is also famous for being reused in several other movies, as I've mentioned before.
Yeah, Wikipedia has an entire list of things it include. And Dino Diego does go into some of that in his video, but he does leave out, I think he does leave out some of it. I could be wrong there, but it's heavily reused. Not the best scene to reuse, in my opinion, but
and that's just
not good.
Yeah,
not good.
That is just, yeah, and that's that's just one. That's just one, and that's just one of the that's one of the scenes that we kind of do have issues. On me personally, on the one hand, I honestly like the ingenuity in using live animals to sort of bypass a budgetary issue, as well as using actual animals and compositing them in and passing them off as like monstrous creatures. The 50s have been pretty famous for using giant monsters in horror movies, which we'll mention later.
Yeah.
However, me personally, I like animals. Yes, yes, spiders scare me. Tarantulas mostly. There are some animals that I would like to keep away from. I would like a very respectable distance from them. But I would never want to glue something. I wouldn't want to glue something on them that would probably cause some bad reactions to them once it's removed.
Absolutely, yeah. And speaking from a reptile keeper's perspective,
dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, dishonor on your whole family.
Oh my gosh, yes. It is not great. I mean, granted, I am somewhat biased. I do work with these animals just about every day.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 of them behind me. And just using that willingly, I'm not sure what they expected to happen. But obviously the alligator is going to win, and that's not a full-sized animal. That's a 4.5. That's a 3 to 4.5 foot animal.
And even then, it uses the technique that it's
famous for.
It's famous for it. The death rolls.
Yes, and as someone that has seen that in person, it's terrifying. And to willingly put another animal in there.
Mm-hmm.
To get that death roll, because the death roll has been known about for a long ass time, and you probably wanted that. And tegus will death roll too. They're omnivorous animals, but they will death roll from time to time. And to willingly get that on film, just for the spectacle. That
yes,
that's reprehensible.
Yes, I have to agree with that one.
Even if you don't like reptiles, or you don't have a thing against them, animal cruelty should set off a big red flag for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go on to something a little happier?
I really don't. What's happier than the ethical issues of the Slurpasaur?
Not on-screen violence and death.
I guess. Like what was used in, what was that movie that Diego mentioned? Was it Journey to the Center of the Earth?
Maybe.
Maybe the one that actually used giant iguanas, giant monitor lizards. One was...
Yeah, if it's just... There are some movies that don't paste things onto the animal for added effect. I don't really have an issue with that.
Yeah.
If you do, Slurpasaur is a touchy subject in terms of how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that still leads into our modern filmmaking practices of using animals in film.
Mm-hmm.
But the overall...
But we didn't. But because of the APSA, or I forget what the APSCA. I forget what it, the
SPCA.
The SPCA, the Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. They're honestly, they have a lot more foundation now. They definitely have a lot more pull nowadays than they did back then.
Yes.
which is kind of a good thing. I would not want, now, me being a filmmaker, I would honestly, seeing Diego's video on it, it did kind of make me think I would like to make a giant monster movie with reptiles, but not the way they made it.
No,
Not the way they
I
made
think it could be done, and it's been done. Independent filmmakers have, made cute little mini movies with like their pet turtle or something. As your pet turtle stomps around. You should be able to find this clip easy. Where a pet turtle stomps around a fake city eating gubia roaches. It's adorable. It is so damn cute.
There's that one guy that green screens his black cat into popular movies. What was it? Owl Kitty?
Owl Kitty, yeah. He did Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. He did
no issues with that.
Jurassic Park. He did How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes.
It's funny with what can be done nowadays, but here's the other. Okay, that Owl Kitty, what we mentioned, that is technically a Slurpasaur, and that is the lighthearted side of Slurpasaur. It is
absolutely.
It's using that for comedic effect, and honestly, the creators of South Park did that twice. They did it twice. In the trilogy called The Startling, they used real giant guinea pigs. Not giant. They were real guinea pigs that were composited in to look like they were giant. And in their movie, you ever hear of Team America World Police?
No.
Oh, good God.
Don't act like I get out, dude.
Okay, well, all right. Well, Team America World Police is pretty much like, oh my God, it's like parody cranked up to 11. Instead of animation, all the characters are marionettes. So it's supposed to, like that old Thunderbirds TV show. If you've seen clips of that, and I think
so, yeah.
All right, and they use the Slurpasaur in that one because the bad guy has panthers, and really what they are just black cats.
Yeah, that counts as Slurpasaurs.
It counts as Slurpasaur, but that's the lighthearted side of it. It's using it for comedic effect. It's it's knowing that it's knowing that, yeah, this technique can be a little silly. So why not use it for comedy?
Yeah, comedy or simple, lightheartedness.
Mm-hmm.
I have zero issues with that. I fully support more people doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that it was done in the past can be left in the past.
Yeah, it can be left
unless you're putting a cute little pair of wings that are attached to a harness on a bearded dragon. I'm okay with that too.
And that's sort of what we kind of talked about, because like I mentioned, is that seeing Diego's video and telling you about, we've even mentioned it on the show a couple times of doing like a special collaboration project of like using your knowledge, your access to reptiles and my filmmaking knowledge to kind of do like a little Slurpasaur without any of the ethical problems.
I could probably get some footage from work. It certainly would open up to some better shots with different animals. I'll talk to my boss.
Okay. And we even talked about if there was a way to actually attach, like horns or wings or any of those kind of things without the need for gluing.
Yeah, and there's some ways you can do it. And once again, there are cute little harnesses and stuff that are made for bearded dragons that do have wings on them on occasion, and it's adorable.
Turning a bearded dragon into an actual dragon.
Yes, it's so cute. And that is one way you can do it. It's silly and it's cute.
I mean, if you want to keep it like that for some comedic effect, you can do it. if not, you can still buy some and modify it, but I'm sure there's a way you can modify it where it doesn't harm the reptile.
Absolutely. If you're going to use live animals in whatever production you're doing, you got to make it ethical.
And so that also kind of brings to mind, okay, so if you're doing a story with giant creatures, then wouldn't that mean there is going to be a point where they fight? Well, there's
ways around that too.
There's ways around that too. See, filmmaking has become so much more accessible than it was back in the 90s. When we used to think that we'd have to go to Hollywood, spend thousands of dollars to get the right equipment, we can now do in our home for like a fraction of the price. There are 3D
You can
models.
use your phone.
You can use your phone. There are 3D models that I've found on certain websites, very good websites, where some models can cost anywhere from $5 to even just about $200. So if you want to do something like this, like the Slurpasaur, but not want to, have blood on your hands, both literally and figuratively, like there's a way to do it ethically.
Yeah, if you want to get an animal to death roll, like say an alligator, easy way to do it. You do it how we do it in here at work. You attach a piece of meat to a rope, give the meat to the animal, and let it roll. You just hang on. We do it with saltwater crocodiles. We do it with alligators. If you want something to roll, all you have to do is provide resistance, and it will naturally want to roll. Completely ethical, and it's good enrichment for the animal. It gets it moving. It gives it exercise.
Then you could essentially do something similar to another animal that's essentially getting rolled. Put it in front of a green screen, put them both in front of a green screen, have them shoot them rolling separately, and then combine them in post-production, and there you go.
There you go. And with our modern technology, that's not that hard. You just gotta know how to do it. And there's just so much that you could do with Slurpasaurs that's ethical and fun. Granted, you might have some issues getting access to an alligator. They are dangerous animals. I just happen to work with them professionally. Don't keep them as pets. They eventually become my problem. I work with several rescued alligators.
Okay.
But if you say, like a bearded dragon or a leopard gecko, those are not hard to get a hold of. Or if you want a giant monster attacking a city, get one of those very well done and well made fake buildings that are partially destroyed that look great against kaiju statues, by the way. And put a crested gecko on one of them. It will just cling to the building, and it will just sit there and lick its eye.
Yeah, and you can add some of the other little potpourri, little accoutrements to it, like smoke coming from the building, or a little bit of fire.
Even a foggy mist going in front of it. Throw a green screen behind it, and then just add that little section right next to your standard, cityscape. Done.
And so what we did kind of mention, it's only possible nowadays because of how widely accessible that this kind of stuff is, and how much technology, our own views on reptiles, as well as what's considered affordable, the movies that we are mentioning back in this day, especially 1 million BC, King Dinosaur, they did not, well, especially 1 million BC, they did not have the budget to make a fake lizard to look like it was just killed by an alligator. They didn't even have enough money to make like a dummy tegu lizard that would get death rolled. Or maybe they did, and they just didn't care. Like I said, because a lot has changed since the 1940. But
Yes,
but that's kind of why this is where I see the movie that we're talking about, the one that started this whole Slurpasaur trend, is morally reprehensible, but there's something good that can come out of it if you're willing to brave it.
Yeah. And other movies have used monitor lizards, which are again not the best, not overly accessible to most people. There are some species that are perfectly fine as pets.
Yeah, there was another movie that Diego mentioned. I can't remember what its name.
I think it was Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Yeah, where two monitor lizards were also filmed fighting to the death. You can actually see some loose skin flakes.
Yeah, and it's I think that actually was like
either The Lost World or something.
No, I think it was Journey to the Center of the Earth, 1950 something.
Oh, here. Oh, there it is. The Land Unknown. That was it.
The Land Unknown. Okay. You have Diego's video pulled up?
Yep.
But yeah, it's The Land Unknown. What year did that come out? Land Unknown. 57. Okay.
Yep. So right in that same time frame. The Lost World. The one that's been
remade a bunch of times.
It's been remade a bunch of times, but this is the one based on Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's. Yes, the guy that wrote the Sherlock Holmes series. He also wrote stories about an island of prehistoric animals. Let's see. Oh no, yeah, that one also used. No wait, I was thinking of the remake of 1 million BC, called 1 million years BC.
Yeah, which honestly, I've seen that one. I like that one.
I haven't seen that one.
Mainly because I love the stop motion.
Yeah,
I love the stop motion.
I know of the poster. I think everyone knows of the poster.
Everyone knows of the poster.
But I did end up seeing a clip for this video, and I had to say, yeah, stop motion. I was like, how can you have no budget for stop motion? But
it takes longer. That's their main cost.
Oh, that's right. But stop motion, yeah. Ray Harryhausen, of course, is the god of stop motion. When Jason and the Argonauts, 1 million years BC, and I think he might have also did the stop motion for the movie The Creature from 20,000 The Beast of 20,000 Fathoms, which
I want to see that.
Which surprisingly has the same plot and premise as Godzilla, but it came out a year before that.
Wait, did this mean Godzilla was a remake?
Technically, Godzilla was supposed to be like King Kong. But that's
a different discussion.
It's a different discussion, and to kind of go off track a little bit, it's just kind of amazing as how this is what makes cinema so great, is that inspiration can come from everywhere. It's not just in a box or in a vacuum. But yeah, I've seen the clips of the dinosaur battle with stop motion, and yeah, Harryhausen definitely breathed some life into this. I don't know, was it supposed to be a Tyrannosaurus or an Allosaurus?
Uh, Officially, it's an Allosaurus, but he also calls it a Tyrannosaurus. According to Harryhausen, they're both large carnivorous dinosaurs.
Okay, but you can
And
definitely
again, this was the 60s, so.
yeah. I mean that I'm just in awe of like the movement that he captured. He made it seem like this wasn't just this one's wasn't a solid this wasn't a solid puppet. I mean, he there's a
He
part where
gave it life.
there's a part where he made the neck stretch because it's reaching for someone and the body stays. That's like, oh my god, that's exactly what an animal would do.
Yeah, it would snap forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, overall, in terms of like the historicity of Slurpasaurs, just freaking use stop motion, man.
Yeah. Or
you can actually get the animal to do what you want to do.
Or if that's not, use the other tried and true method that Japan has used for years when it comes to Godzilla movies. Just use a man in a rubber suit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it looks cheesy now, and I'm sure it looked kind of cheesy then, but who cares?
So
I mean, there's just
and so yeah, even though this this trend kind of it started and kind of died out just as quickly. But if
you see it pop up here and there for comedic things, obviously, like you said before, but
yeah, you see, yeah,
as a serious filmmaking technique, it's pretty much done.
Yeah, it's pretty much done. But me, I'm that person that loves some of the old school effects. I don't know if I have the patience to do stop motion. That's definitely for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But Ian, if now we come to a section where we just talk about like what we would do if we wanted to do like a Slurpasaurus scene or just like a setting. Like what would we do, Ian? Like what are some of the things that we would do given what we know now?
Yeah. No gluing props onto the animal. That's just stupid.
Yeah, no glue. No glue. Absolutely no glue. No adhesives whatsoever. No glue, no sticky tack, no nothing.
You might be able to get away with like a band around the animal in a safe place, like an elastic band that holds wings or spiked on if you wanted to go that route.
Okay.
Like with the bearded dragon harness with the wings on it.
Okay.
You can get away with that. If you dyed the harness the same color as the actual animal skin, I don't have an issue with that.
Okay.
But it would depend on the story. So, say for example, there's a team of scientists. We'd have to go, Lake Placid route, and say there's a giant alligator or something in a lake, and it turns out to be like a Deinosuchus or something. You very well could just use a living crocodilian, use some filming techniques to increase the size, like what they did in Jaws, actually. They had a miniature cage with a miniature figure in it.
With the real
Does that count as Slurpasaurs?
No. I think that counts as like a double.
Even though since they were working with smaller sharks, they had to use a small cage and a small human to increase the visual size of the shark.
They didn't use a blue tip to pass it off as the enemy shark. Didn't they use like a juvenile great white?
Yeah, they were younger. They used younger great whites because they were in, I think it was off of South Africa,
Yeah.
if I recall correctly.
So they didn't. So they didn't use. So they didn't use a. They didn't use a different shark species to pass it off as the great white. They used an actual great white.
Okay, fair enough. But you could use like an alligator in place of a Deinosuchus, and it could be kind of like a Lost World situation, like where the heck did this thing come from? And yeah, it would be comedic because, why not? But it would be, that's probably what I would do. I would get access to crocodilian and use filmmaking techniques to make them seem larger and as a prehistoric crocodilian. That's not what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I just wanted to be comedic, I would, like I said before, use a crested gecko, fake destroyed building, and a green screen.
I would like that. I would like to do that, honestly.
I'm getting a crested gecko.
Just for that shot. Just for that shot. That would be fun to just composite. Just like a 10-second, a 5 to 10-second little shot of a crested gecko on top of a destroyed building.
Attack of the giant gecko.
Uh-huh. Or you don't even have to use dinosaurs. You could probably even use creatures from mythology, like one idea that or even actual animals, prehistoric animals that weren't necessarily dinosaurs. Like the idea that Ian and I had was essentially using his milk snake and passing it off as the Titan boa.
Yeah, Titanoboa. It didn't work out well. Due to the setup I have, it just wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to get a different set piece for it to work, but yeah, I could play around with crap and see what I could do, but
mm-hmm.
Where are you?
Is she resting?
She should be. Oh, I see a face. Hi. It's feeding night.
Oh.
So I'm not surprised she's keeping an eye on Dad. Hi, baby.
I'm surprised.
Look at this.
I'm surprised.
Look at
my
that little face.
Where? I can't. Oh, there she is. I see her. I see her. I'll put a little red circle in the area. That's where she is. Right there. Hey there. At least I think that's it. That little red and white spot.
Yeah, that's her. That little red spot is her eye.
Hello.
She demands food from Dad. Unfortunately, she has to wait till Dad is finished.
Okay.
But yeah, that's. I would just do like cut the gecko on the building because that's just hilarious.
It is. Yeah. And also the other good thing is that this filmmaking club that I'm a part of, I mean, even getting a blue or green screen is so easy. You could just use poster board, green or blue poster board, and you already have a green screen for your like your models and your little creatures.
I gotta get up to Walmart.
Yeah. Or Hobby Lobby, or no, wait, it's Sunday when at the time of this recording they're closed, or or even your craft store, any craft store.
Yeah, you might even be able to get it at like Rite Aid or something. I think they carry some craft supplies. But yeah, if you want to do it ethically and you have like a leopard gecko or something like that, or a tortoise,
mm-hmm.
or a small turtle, go for it.
Yeah,
it's fun. Tag us. We want to see.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that. I would love to see any filmmakers who are watching this, who are listening to this, to try their hand at Slurpasaur and like tag us. Send it our way. Tag us on Twitter or add us on Facebook. Or send us a link in the comments down below.
That's probably the best way to do it. That way other people can see it.
Yes. And I would like to do it's just something to cross off on my VFX bucket list. It's something that I would like to try out as well.
Yeah, once I get the gecko, I could probably track down a destroyed city building and throw together like a 10-second clip, and then you can just, edit that out and have fun, John.
Yeah.
But there's ways to go about doing the Slurpasaurs ethically and still have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have to go all out, pasting things on the living animals, because A, that's kind of dangerous, and B, it's also dangerous to the animal.
So why is it? Why, other than the fact that if you don't want to, if you don't glue, if you'd rather not glue stuff on your body, why glue it on animals? Aside from that, what is wrong? What is wrong with that?
Aside from the whole cruelty aspect,
what makes it dangerous is what I want.
You go glue something onto the back of an alligator and let me know how well that works out.
Okay.
Fair point?
Very fair point.
I mean, yeah, you can get away with it with iguanas and stuff, but I've heard of people that have lost fingers to iguanas.
Really?
So, oh my god, iguana bites are nasty. Even though they're herbivores, they're nasty.
Yeah, just because they eat plants doesn't mean that they are peace loving.
No, I mean, I work with a young male, and he's tolerant of us, let's say.
He's tolerant. Okay.
He's tolerant. He doesn't want us to touch him. He just wants us to put his food plate in, clean up his poop, and get out. That's literally all he wants.
So his vibe is all, you don't bother me, I won't bother you.
Pretty much. If you get too near him, he'll whip you with his tail.
Oh, wow.
He's a sassy little boy. And he was a pet.
So
he got too big for the people.
So even though they're cold-blooded, these are creatures with emotions, and they demand our care, and they demand our respect, and the whole gluing fins, gluing horns onto them. It wasn't just lizards. Also, it was elephant fur on elephants and horns on hogs to do that. And an armadillo. Don't glue stuff on animals.
No, don't do it. And even in an Attack of the Killer Shrews, I think they at least had like fursuits on whippet dogs, which, okay, if it was just like a fursuit, I'm okay with that. But that also counts as Slurpasaurs.
Yes, it does. Yeah, there was actually a moment where the alien from Alien 3 was going to be a Slurpasaur.
Really?
Yes. Yes, they put a here it is. They attempted to put an alien suit on a small whippet dog. Okay, guess that's a favor, and they also look very thin, I guess.
Yeah.
For a brief scene when the xenomorph is still at small size, but when they looked at the result, it looked exactly like a small dog wearing an alien suit. Adorable, but not exactly threatening. So they ended up using a puppet.
Oh, I want to see that footage. Where is that footage?
Okay. All right. I can send you a link to it. There's one on Imager.
Is it cute?
What?
Is it cute?
It is pretty cute.
It's a cute little alien monster.
Oh, you're a cute little parasite.
I say that to my snakes all the time, even though they're not parasites. And one of the alligators, but he's a butthead.
Okay.
But there's ways to do it. It doesn't always work, a la Alien 3, but
But all right, so if you can avoid gluing and not necessarily. You don't have to be confined to dinosaurs.
You can do whatever. You
Yeah,
can do mythical creatures. You can just do,
or you could
larger versions of animals. You can
or
do
you,
whatever.
or you could, or a lot of these movies they involved either time travel or or an island that was that's untouched by time, and an undiscovered island. And it was like, all right, you're thinking backwards. How about do the Planet of the how about go Planet of the Apes? It's far flung into the future. There was some kind of devastating cataclysm, and then when life returned, the life forms that were so small that we kept as pets, they now rule the earth as giant monstrosities.
Goddamn geckos.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like that idea. Post-apocalyptic.
Mm-hmm.
Just giant geckos everywhere.
Doesn't even have to be post-apocalyptic. It's just like the world's restarting essentially.
Yeah. And you time travel or whatever, you fling forward, and it's like, oh crap.
It's looking, oh crap, did we go back into the past? And then you find like a modern building. Oh no, this is the future.
I like this idea. I like it.
Yes, it borrows a lot from Planet of the Apes, but at least that had a better idea.
Yes, and if you do that with, whatever reptile or whatever animal, that could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It could be comedic. Running away from a gecko sounds hilarious, but
Yeah, and then there could be some comedic parts to it. There's also some scare. There can be some beauty parts. Like imagine giant canaries or something funny. But
oh god, that's terrifying. That is terrifying.
Okay. What about cardinals?
That might be good.
Yeah, that could be beautiful. And then you have the scary parts like giant crocodiles, giant monitor lizards.
We don't have to go that giant. We have Komodo dragons already.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, make them even bigger.
Yes, bring back Varanus priscus, also commonly known as Megalania.
Oh.
Imagine a Komodo dragon, but about 3 to 4 times its size.
Wow.
And it was fairly recently that went extinct, like about 10,000 years ago.
Oh, that
Australia. That recent.
That's considered to paleontology. Yes, that's considered recent.
Yeah, and it's like, bring that back if you want to go. For the whole time travel thing, bring back a Megalania, or just have fun.
I would definitely. Yeah, we definitely need some Komodo dragon experts and wranglers because
I'll reach out to my friends.
because those ain't your grandpa's iguanas. Those things will not only tear you apart, but you get one scrape from their teeth, they will kill you.
Not to mention the claws.
Yeah, and that's if you avoid the claws.
Yeah. But I mean, there's so much that you could do that sounds both beautiful and terrifying and hilarious. And there's just, here's an idea. Here in Pennsylvania, I have no idea what it's like out in Iowa, but we have an issue with invasive species called red-eared sliders. Very common pet turtles.
Oh.
Imagine people release them and now they're overpopulating in my state and everywhere.
We had an invasive species called the zebra mollusk.
Oh, those sound fun. Yeah, I've heard of those.
Oh,
but
God.
Imagine red-eared sliders the size of a truck. I have no idea how that would work, but physiologically, I don't care. That sounds terrifying.
Even you, Ian, you're a scientist and you love reptiles, but when it comes to movies, you're like, square cube law be damned.
Yes. Yes. Bring
Because
back giant varanids and giant geckos.
it's simply and simply because it's fun. It's sometimes fun to just go to a movie and
Turn off your brain for
turn
a
off
little
your
bit.
brain. And that's all and it's only when you do something dumb, it's when the movie does something very, very dumb that
Like call an iguana a T-Rex.
that audiences will just suddenly go, oh. Let's see. There's a quote that this video mentioned. Essentially saying that when we go to movies, we know it's a fantasy, but despite that, we do expect some level of realism, especially when it comes to giant dinosaurs. We expect it to look like like a dinosaur, or at least when you name something, we expect it to look a different way. Didn't Henry Wu kind of also touch upon that in Jurassic World?
Yeah, he and in Jurassic Park, the novel actually, he wants people don't want to see what's real; they want to see what they expect.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, they're very different contexts in what both of these conversations were being discussed,
Mm-hmm.
but it still holds true. People, when you call something a dinosaur, it has to look like what people think a dinosaur is.
Mm-hmm. And most of us, the general audience, expect a dinosaur to be like a giant lizard. However, if you call that giant if you call the giant iguana a T-Rex, that will immediately turn the audience off because
because we know what a T-Rex looks like.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't even if we know what the scientific accurate look of it is, most of us who grew up with Jurassic Park, we also expect it to look a certain way.
And even if you don't get it, semi-correct, you're not gonna win anything there, bud. It's just your audience is gonna check out, and it's just gonna not do well. Doesn't matter how good your story is. If your monster isn't what you say it is, the threat is gone.
Mm-hmm. And it is kind of amazing that I have seen someone actually put in a scientifically accurate T-Rex in Jurassic Park.
I've seen that video before. He did several other animals, actually.
Yeah, several other animals. And even though it is scientifically accurate, I mean, we still know it's a T-Rex. And we also know that the T-Rex in the Jurassic Park that we got, it's still a T-Rex. It just looks much fiercer, much more scary. But it's still a T-Rex.
Yeah, and the Jurassic Park T-Rex is actually still pretty good. We just now know a T-Rex is actually probably a bit bulkier. Mm-hmm. It more than likely had lips, but it overall still not bad.
Yeah,
it's just again a product of its time.
Uh-huh. But no one is going to believe an iguana is a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
No, even if they've been living under a rock for the past 50 years, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm. And so that is also, if for filmmakers who do want to use like actual lizards or animals in like their movies to kind of pass them off as prehistoric creatures, lesson number, I don't know, 12.
Whatever. We're not keeping track.
Not keeping track. We didn't even number them. But definitely another lesson: do not call them by an actual dinosaur name.
Especially in this day and age, because we've got Google.
Mm-hmm. Unless you can get very close. I think in one of the TV tropes page I found, the Spinosaurus can act. You can actually pass off a crocodile with a sail on its back as a Spinosaurus.
Not really.
Not really.
Not really, because Spinosaurus, except for that brief flip in like 2014 when it was quadrupedal for like a year, it's always been an animal on two legs. So you couldn't get away with that. A Dimetrodon, you might be able to, if people don't really know what we now know about Dimetrodon. But you might be able to get away with it depending on the style that you're going for. But I think that using animals, modern day animals, to look like prehistoric animals, especially in this day and age where we have the internet and we can easily fact check you, rather than, the 50s where, you actually have to be in that field to know what the hell you're doing
or
and
go
what
to
you're talking about.
Or go to a library.
What are those? No shade to libraries. They're still very important. But yeah, the information was not as accessible back then as to what these animals that they're attempting to portray actually are. That's why they could get away with it. You can't get away with it anymore. So that's why you have to do like a very close match, or a giant version of a modern animal in the future.
And I guess that's sort of like a later reason for why the Slurpasaur trend kind of died off.
Yeah, people got sick of it, and as information became more available, especially with the mass communication of science and paleontology to the masses, people got sick of it, and A, ratings went down, B, animal cruelty laws went into effect,
and
for the best.
And C, it was commonly associated with low quality, low budget movies.
And the final nail in the coffin to the entire thing was Jurassic Park.
It would be the only closest thing we get to Slurpasaur in Jurassic Park is the animatics that came on the first DVD, like the raptors in the kitchen where they act.
Yeah, with the Go Motion test shots.
The Go Motion test shots where the velociraptors are actually flicking their tongues like lizards.
And that got shot down pretty quick. Yeah, that might be the last semi-serious take of a Slurpasaur in modern times. Now, obviously, we have used animals and reptiles in film and television forever. I mean, one of the biggest ones that I recall is actually from the Disney Channel. They had a pretty decent run of a show called Jessie, and in that is a large monitor lizard named Mr. Kipling. And it was just a pet of one of the kids that the main character Jessie would be a nanny to. And it just roamed around. It was not always in scene with the kids, because I believe, if I recall correctly, that was an Asian water monitor.
Okay, so I don't know what that
safe.
is, but I'm guessing. I was gonna say, judging by your reaction, it's not exactly pet friendly.
Not normally, and whenever the lizard had to be in the same scene with the kids for a certain shot or whatever, it was a puppet.
Okay.
It was hardly ever the actual animal, and that's the only way you could do it. A, with animal laws, and B, child laws and child safety laws. But that's like the last time that I recall animals being used in a major production like that.
Mm.
There very well may be others, but using that is honestly probably the best way to do it. If you're not doing the whole Slurpasaur thing, just treating the animal responsibly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There was
not what they did in Friday the 13th.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Animal cruelty right there as well.
Yeah. I don't care if it was actually, it was a harmless native species. In fact, one I just found yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone's out and about, and it was a beautiful day, and I found 2 snakes.
Oh, okay.
But you really...
It's all about treating animals, even ones that you're afraid of, with respect.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, even though I would like to do, even though I am kind of curious to use this technique, there are some lines I won't cross.
Absolutely, we're not gonna have live fights.
No, absolutely not. If I did do a project, like, what am I talking about? Like, I'm actually gonna go to Hollywood. I'm not going to Hollywood. But if in another universe, the me that is in Hollywood that is still interested in doing this would probably not film a live fight in which one or both the animals are killed. Let's see, the other me would probably use computer generated models.
At least for one of the animals. You might go to get away with, like I said before, having one of the animals roll.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's something you could do. You could get a puppet, have it grab onto somebody's leg, and then have that person get dragged into the water, and then have the animal roll. And it's like, oh no, our main character is being death rolled.
Oh yeah. Or like even do like a puppet lizard that's just filled with meat.
Yeah, you'd have to get like an outer casing. Yeah, you essentially have to do it like a sausage.
Yes.
And have an outer casing that is safe for the animal to consume.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to get away with that with like certain reptile safe frosting.
Even this, we're still coming up with ideas on how to do it safely and creatively
and ethically.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I mean, there's ways to do it.
I'm sad that this sort of technique has kind of died out, but I'm not sad that the cruelty is gone. Or I'm not sad.
Yeah.
Wait, I am happy the cruelty is gone. I'm not sad that I'm not sad that
animals aren't being hurt anymore.
Yes, that animals aren't being hurt. Yes, thank you. My brain and mouth don't connect right.
English be hard.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think we probably said all that we can. It's a technique that is definitely rough around the. Okay, it's definitely harsh. It's a harsh film technique, but still has some merit for some low budget filmmakers.
Or just comedy.
Or just even you can use it as serious sci-fi, or you can just use it for comedy. Some of the YouTuber that we mentioned definitely uses this technique for comedy, and it works.
Yes.
and it works. We just it's just that we draw the line at animal cruelty.
Absolutely. But I don't have anything else to add, dude. I think we said our piece.
Yeah,
from both perspectives.
Yeah, and like I said, the video that inspired this discussion is linked right in the description. Do give him a thumbs up for this. Leave a comment, and honestly, hopefully maybe in the future we can do a little project like this, a very ethical Slurpasaur project.
Yeah, I can probably get a building off Amazon, and
yeah,
crested gecko should be here by sometime in August. So maybe by next year, you'll probably see something along this line.
Maybe, yeah.
Just a little clip, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a shot of people running through a city, and the camera pans up, and it's just a wide shot of, you know, a gecko on a building.
Not
like a 20-second thing, maybe 30 seconds.
Not impossible. I could find some stock footage.
What, you don't have friends that would run away for a shot?
I don't have many friends.
Maybe Tyler could be our guy that looks up and takes his glasses off.
Yeah, I could probably.
And then he could say, "God damn it, Ian."
Or like, the fortune cookie was right.
I want to do this now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it sounds like it'd be very fun as long as you have a conscience.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, filmmaking itself, filmmaking in its entirety, it can be stressful, but it can be fun. Just as long as you're not willing to cut corners or kill some animals.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just going on to. I'm just repeating myself now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we're done, dude.
Yeah, but, we are so done.
Once again, congratulations to Jurassic Park, 30-year anniversary of the first film.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope, and here's to 30 more of inspiration.
I was just gonna go to like 50 because that's the next big stop, dude.
Well, yeah, well, true. I mean, but it'd be kind of weird. You go happy 30th anniversary, and then here's to 20 more.
Fair enough. But Jurassic Park pretty much killed this as a franchise or as a technique. And now we're congratulating it because it deserves it.
Yep. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Jurassic Park, for bringing some ethics back to our lizard friends, as well as also making dinosaurs scary again, and also, yes, making sure that no animals were harmed during the making of this picture. A lot of people were, though.
What about the goat?
I don't know about the goat.
No.
Did the T-Rex?
It was a necessary casualty.
Okay, some animals were harmed.
And the cow.
Some animals were harmed. The goat, the cow, Nedry, but he had it coming.
Gennaro also had it coming.
Yeah.
He abandoned the kids.
Mm-hmm. You abandoned the kids. But anyway, yes. Happy 30th anniversary to Jurassic Park. Thank you for bringing this morally reprehensible trend to an end, as well as just lots of inspiration for filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
And not just filmmakers, just inspiration to even young paleontologists like Ian here.
Anybody. Inspiration to anybody. It's a wonderful movie that deserves its place just well above actually Slurpasaurs in terms of its cultural importance.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, congrats to the entire cast and crew of Jurassic Park for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And sooner or later, we will do our own dinosaur thing once I get a gecko.
But until that time yet, be sure to join us next month here on the Nerdvana podcast. This is John Murphy.
And Ian Benoit.
Signing off.